I found us a beautiful spot. Let's see if I can zoom us in. We've got the moon about to disappear. Oh, it only made it blurry. I'm sorry about that. Leave it there. I'm just going to say the moon is right of that antenna across the skyline. All right, this is going to be topic 10, sex with a partner. Women who have been traumatized tend to respond to sex in one of three ways: over-sexualizing all relationships and or being indiscriminately sexual, shutting down sexual feelings, and totally avoiding sexual encounters, or having sex with a loved partner but not fully enjoying it, or in some cases, not enjoying it at all. If you respond to sex in any of these ways, you may be missing some or all of the pleasure of enjoying a sexually intimate relationship with a partner. Sex can connect you with another person in a very special and delightful way. Everyone deserves to have good sexual experiences with a loving partner. This topic will help you find ways to address the issues that may be keeping you from having a good sexual relationship. You will not be able to complete all of the exercises that are suggested in this topic in your 1-hour session, especially those that you would do with a partner or prospective partner. So you may want to return to this topic again and again. Skip over any sections or exercises that you feel would not be helpful to you. As you begin to work on this topic, remember that when you have sex with a partner, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. The end result of sexual contact can be wonderful, with both of you going on to enjoy future sexual contact and an increasingly intimate relationship. However, a sexual encounter can also lead to hurt and rejection. Like so many of the good things in life, it is a risk. To avoid this risk would be to limit one aspect of your life. However, you can reduce the risk of hurtful encounters if you proceed slowly and cautiously, listening closely to your intuition and avoiding sexual contact when it doesn't feel right or when you are not ready. And the next part is becoming sexually active. If you have responded to sexual abuse by avoiding sex and you are ready to change that, you need to proceed slowly, taking very small steps. This is ongoing work, and only you can decide when you are ready to get sexually involved with another person. Moving too quickly or getting into a sexual relationship with an inappropriate person could be more damaging than helpful. Here are some things to do and think about that should help you. Looks like there's 3 of them. Refer back to the section Feeling Sexual from topic 9. Spend some additional time on each of the activities in that section and continue to do them in your spare time until you feel comfortable with the information you have learned about your sexuality. Write your findings in your journal. Number 2, repeat the body stimulation exercise from topic 9 again and again. Each time you do it, you will become more aware of and comfortable with touching those parts of your body that give you sexual pleasure. Number 3, talk to someone whom you trust and feel comfortable with about this issue. A counselor, therapist, crisis center worker, a close friend, or a woman, or several members of a support group for women who have been sexually abused. Got a little bug. Don't expect the other person to change or fix you. You don't need to be fixed or changed by anyone else. Mookie, are you okay? Did you get a bug? Okay, you do not need to be fixed or changed by someone else. You are experiencing normal reactions to bad things that happened to you. Talking will help you understand your feelings, and it will help you decide what you want to do about them. Ask the person who is listening to just be supportive. Tell them that suggestions or advice, criticism, judging, or telling you about similar circumstances in their life would not be helpful. If the other person is a friend, you could divide the time in half so each of you have time to talk. You may need to talk to someone else many times about this issue. And we have a line here to fill in. I am going to talk to this person at this time. Number 4, think about the kinds of potential partners who are most attractive to you, who you find most interesting, or with whom you are most comfortable. Here's a list of questions to answer. What gender would you prefer? Male, female, or doesn't matter? Would this person be older or younger than you? Or does age not matter? What would this person look like? Would looks really matter to you? What interests would this person have? I'll get you the water. If you would stop eating food, then we could be friends instead. The next question, how would this person act? What kinds of behavior from another person would tell you that you did not want to get further involved with him or her? And the last one for this question 4 is describe an ideal sexual partner. And there's like 12 lines for that, so it sounds like that might take some time. Again, I have the dog with me, and he is drinking water because he ate something that was outside when I let him out. I couldn't see what it was. Thankfully, I'll never know, but it did not smell good on his breath. So, forgive me. Number 5. Some women meet potential partners through support groups, special interest groups or clubs, church, educational courses or workshops, social events, dating services, or bars. Where could you meet the kind of person you described above? Where would you feel comfortable going? Or what would you feel comfortable doing to meet them? Number 6. Once you have met someone with whom you would like to become more intimate, it is generally wise to proceed very slowly. Having sex right away often doesn't feel good, and one-night stands can be especially problematic. Quick encounters connect you with a person before you know they are safe or deserving of your trust. Suggested steps in getting to know another person would be: I hope that's clear. Get together casually several times in a public place. Have lunch, coffee, go for a short walk, or attend a community program that is of mutual interest. Another option is begin dating casually. Go to the movies, out to dinner, or whatever you prefer, and perhaps end the date with a hug and a kiss. Another option, spend time together at each other's homes, watching television, playing a game, talking, or being with the other person's family. Another, when you are both ready to be more intimate, do only what feels comfortable to both of you. 2 ways of easing into a sexual relationship are the warm hug and body explorations. Here's the definition of their warm hug. Warm hug. Begin by standing several feet in front of your partner. Look into each other's eyes for several moments. Then walk toward each other and embrace with your hands flat and firm on the other person's back. Hold your bodies closely together for several moments, pressing softly against each other from cheeks to knees. Step back and look into each other's eyes again. Do this at least several times when you are together. And the next is called, it says body explorations. Sit cross-legged on the floor or in some other comfortable position, facing your partner. Gently and softly take turns rubbing parts of each other's body, wherever it feels comfortable to them. Avoid sensitive areas if either of you is hesitant. When either of you suggests sexual activity, you may want to tell the other person you have had a difficult experience and need to proceed very slowly. A good potential partner will honor your wishes and not press you to proceed faster than you want to. This does not mean that you need to go into the details of your trauma history. You only need to say that you have had some bad experiences and now you need to feel safe and in control in order to explore a sexual relationship. As your relationship with this partner deepens, you may feel that you want to share more about your past history. And the final one, number 7. As you work on these issues, writing your thoughts and feelings will help you focus on and reinforce what you are learning. If you want to make sure no one else reads what you write, find a safe place to store your writings or just destroy them. The purpose is in the writing and not necessarily in having it available to reread later or to show to anyone else. All right, this next section is accurately reading the actions of others. Women who have been sexually abused sometimes over-sexualize relationships. They incorrectly sense sexual overtones and interest in contact with others, even if the contact is very brief or even inconsequential. Perhaps you fall into this category and you make sexual overtures based on this perceived interest. When the other person realizes you are making sexual overtures, they may either take advantage of the opportunity or back off. Dana is a 28-year-old who works in the accounting department of a large supermarket chain. In her work, she interacts with many different men and women throughout the day. She discovered that rather than thinking of a smile, a pat on the back, or a thank you as a friendly gesture, she thought it meant the other person wanted to have sexual contact. Her responses were often inappropriate, which got her into some very difficult situations. She began flirting and making provocative comments to casual colleagues. She assumed that most of the single men and a few of the married men with whom she worked wanted to be sexual with her. She even had one-night stands with a few of her co-workers. All this has made the workplace very uncomfortable, to the point where she is thinking of changing jobs. She sure wishes she could stop getting into these situations, but she has trouble reading a friendly gesture as such, and mistakes kindness for seduction. If there is a problem for you, you may want to rethink your thought patterns so that they more accurately reflect the message the other person is trying to give you. The following exercise will help you to do that. Reality checking. In this exercise, you will begin learning to read the body language, words, and actions of others in a different way. For instance, you may have thought an ordinary smile meant that the other person found you sexually attractive. In reality, it may have been just a friendly gesture on the part of the other person to let you know they saw you. Think of things others have done and how you interpret these gestures. Could you have interpreted them in a different way? That was probably what the person really meant. Consider the following example. Action or signal from other person. Attractive male coworker tells me I did a great job on a recent project. Your interpretation. He wants to have an affair with me. A more accurate assessment of what the person probably meant. He probably meant that he felt I did a really good job. Think of actions or signals from other people that you feel you have misinterpreted in the past. And then it's got a list here, which is the action or signal from the person. The first thing that comes to mind, which is what your idea was. And then a more accurate assessment of what the person probably meant. My goodness, I have like a million. I could just fill that in all day. I think I've gotten a lot better as I've gotten older and I started watching videos on YouTube. What does people mean? Coming from spending some of my childhood in another country, you know, it's not all just like automatic. You know, this whole common sense thing is only common if it's, you know, common. If you've traveled very much, common is different, you know. So anyway, okay, back with healing the trauma of abuse. This chapter, sex with a partner, topic 10. And it does that 3 times. So you do the action or signal from the other person, the first thing that comes to mind, and the more accurate assessment of what the person probably meant. After you have completed this exercise, you will want to keep it in mind as you interact with others each day, doing reality checks on what their actions could really mean. And the next section is personal list of rules. Like Dana, you may want to have fewer brief sexual encounters and work on getting into an intimate, long-term sexual relationship. To do this, it may be helpful to develop for yourself a set of personal guidelines or rules that will keep you out of brief sexual encounters and allow you to get more intimately involved with a person whom you know well and might want as a possible prospective partner. Some rules you might consider are, we have 8 of them. Number 1, I won't have sex with anyone until I have gone out with them at least. You set the number of times. So you decide. I will not have sex with anyone until I have gone out with them at least so many times. Number 2, I will stop spending time in bars, or name some other or more specific place to look for possible partners. Number 2, I will stop spending time in bars to look for possible partners. Number 3, I will not have sex with anyone who is in a relationship with someone else. Number 4, I will not go to the other person's home or have them come to my home until we have gotten together at least. You set the number of times. Number 5, I will not have sex with anyone who tries to convince me to have sex with them before I feel ready. Number 6, I will not have sex with anyone who tries to convince me that things I know about sex are false. Eagle's about to fly by. Number 7, in order to have sex with me, the other person must treat me with dignity, compassion, and respect at all times. Number 8, I will only consider sexual contact with a person who is not having sex with anyone else. That means I have to trust that what the other person is telling me is true. We got a space here to write it out. Which of these rules would you include on your list? And what are some other rules or guidelines that would be helpful to you? And then the next section, before you have sex. In order to keep yourself safe, there are several issues that need to be taken into consideration and decisions that have to be made before you get sexually involved with another person. What do you plan to do about birth control? Keep in mind that birth control is a responsibility of both partners. So this is something you may wish to speak to your prospective partner about. Seriously. Oh, that's funny. Also, be aware of false information you may hear about pregnancy. It is not true that you cannot get pregnant during, just prior to, or just after your menstrual period. Although women tend to ovulate midway between menstrual cycle, women do get pregnant throughout their cycle. Nor is it true that the withdrawal method is effective against pregnancy. Small amounts of semen are left in the vagina, even if he pulls out in time. Actually, you can get pregnant if any semen is deposited in the genital area. Finally, it is not true that douching immediately following intercourse will prevent pregnancy. Sperm are very vigorous, and douching does not necessarily remove all of them. Some women report that men who don't want to use birth control try to convince them that some of these erroneous beliefs are true. As a woman, you need to trust yourself Know that these beliefs are wrong and take action accordingly. Are you sure you want to have sex with someone who would try to convince you of something that wasn't even true? Number 2, what will you do to prevent AIDS and other sexually transmitted diseases? Everyone is at risk, even if you see yourself as being in a low-risk category. You have a responsibility to yourself and to your prospective sexual partner to be tested for AIDS and other diseases before becoming sexually involved. Free testing is available in most areas. Contact your local AIDS organization, hospital, or other healthcare organization to get more information. And the final one, number 3. Before the sexual relationship begins, both people need to agree that this is what they want to do. Both people have a right to say no to sex now or later. Always remember that no one has the right to force any kind of sexual activity upon you if it makes you uncomfortable. Another list here lists any other issues you want to consider before getting sexually involved with another person. And here's our next to the last section, dealing with frightening memories. Sometimes sex may bring up frightening memories, bad things that happened to you in the past. It helps if your partner knows about your abuse history and knows about your potential for reliving these memories during sex, because they can help you. You can ask to be held lovingly until you feel better. Take a break and remind yourself that you are not in the past, that this is the present, and you are now in control of this situation. If your memories during sex are too troubling, you should tell your partner that you will need to abstain until you feel safer. It is important for you to feel in control of your body and of your sexual activity. If you are having intrusive memories, it's probably because some part of the sex act is triggering them. With your partner's help, try to figure out what it might be. Kissing, having your breasts touched, or some other particular sexual contact may be causing the problem. If you can isolate the trigger, you can substitute behaviors that do not remind you of the past. If you find that everything about sex causes you to remember the bad experiences, then you and your partner might want to see a therapist or a trauma specialist together to help you out. Remember, there are many ways to be close without being sexual. A loving partner will wait until sex feels right to you. And the last section, fantasizing or dissociating during sex. You may find that due to traumatic experiences in the past, you automatically cope or get through it by thinking about some other situation or feeling unconnected from your body. Many women find this habit to be very frustrating. They want to enjoy being with their partner, present, and to appreciate the intimacy they are sharing. To be present more and more when you are sexually involved. Practice being present in the moment. That means focusing all your attention on what is happening right at that moment. You can begin to practice it while doing other things. When you are washing the dishes, focus only on scraping off the leftovers, putting the dish in the water, rubbing the plate with a sponge, feeling the warm, soapy water on your hands, and so on. Instead of thinking of something you have done in the past or something you are worried about, practice this over and over again each day with different chores and errands. As you do, you will notice that you feel more relaxed and that you are enjoying life more. When you feel ready, try being present in the moment during sex. focusing your attention on the touch, feelings, and on your partner. This is a skill that takes practice and improves over time. Looking into your partner's face and eyes may help you stay connected to and aware of your present partner. Looks like we have 2 optional activities. 1, think of the best sexual relationship you have ever had. What did you like about it? And number 2, what are the pros and cons of getting into a sexual relationship? And the final part, things to remember every day. I am a very special and valuable person. My value is not related to whether or not I am willing to have sex. If I am in a relationship, I decide with my partner whether or not I will have sex. I don't need to have sex just because the person I am with wants me to. I don't need to do anything sexual that I do not want to do. I have the right to change my mind and the right to stop having sex after I've started. I have the right to decide what sexual activities I will do and for how long. This may be frustrating for the other person, but they need to respect my feelings and decisions. I do not need to reach a climax to show my sexual partner what a good lover he or she is. Sexual activity is more fun if I am in an equal role with my partner. And the final one, all sexual contact, not just intercourse, is sex. This has been topic 10, sex with a partner. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you.